Hey, welcome to another episode of Spirit Walking with Spirit Walker. I'm your host, Spirit Walker, and today we're going to walk in beautiful downtown Prattville. I got a request from a watcher on YouTube who said, why don't you shoot downtown Prattville, show us what it looks like now compared to what it used to look like. There's a lot of people from Prattville that have moved out of town that would like to see the downtown area. So here we go. Let's walk. I've seen a lot of historical pictures of downtown Prattville. A lot of them are taken from this angle right here. This is a curve in the road in historic downtown that curves around just before you would crash into Watauga Creek, where the Prattville Cotton Gin was first located. This building right here has a lot of history to it. It's been here a very long time. I've known it since it was Steve's Disco. It's been Roy's Deli. Marie Roy used to own this building. I don't know if she still does. But they had Marie's on Main in the front there where you see the black banner. And then on the side where you see Kimberly's is now, used to be Roy's Deli. I played a lot of music in Roy's Deli. On down is Red Arrow Hardware, which is now closing. That store was there in that location since 1946, and it was originally located down the street in 1936 in that brick building that you see on the right there. I'm standing now in front of the building I just showed you that used to be Roy's Deli and Marie's on Main. Looking at the other side of Prattville, you can see the older buildings over there, and then the cotton mill, or the cotton gin in the background, where Daniel Pratt founded Prattville in 1839 by building the first cotton gin. And this is the other side of the street from where I shot Roy's Deli. And we're looking up Bridge Street here. Goes over Watauga Creek, the old buildings. You can see the top of one of the cotton gin buildings across the river there, over the top of the low-lying buildings in the front. A little bit better view of the cotton gin as it exists today. Cotton Gin Creamery is a relatively new addition. A lot of the businesses in downtown, old downtown Prattville, change hands. But it doesn't mean that downtown Prattville's dying at all. Just changing hands. Right here next to Red Arrow Hardware, all of these buildings are old buildings. You can see this building has a sign on it that says 1905. My daughter and one of her girlfriends was here just a minute ago, and they were talking about, I wish they'd turn that into apartment complexes. We would definitely rent one. Looking at all the buildings down the street here, some of the buildings have been here quite a while. You can see the architecture all pretty much the same height, and you got the old brick there, those white buildings in the middle there. That's the old type brick, and then you've got the darker red brick down there, but it's still the old brick. Sometimes facades change on the buildings. There's some interesting storefront windows here in Prattville. Here's some art on display from the Prattville Art Guild. Here's an old chair on this side, and you can see this old mantle, which probably came out of one of the many historical houses here in Prattville. Here's Bella Vista by the creek. Also on the south side of Prattville. Some displays. Healthy Bistro. Closed right now because of the quarantine of the coronavirus, but it will be back open hopefully. Some more of the north side of downtown. This is a neat little portion of downtown, old downtown Prattville, where the building ends right here on the south side of the street. And you got this little creek walk access path, a space between the buildings. Instead of being just some old beat up alleyway, they turn it into a pathway, a nice little walkway down to the creek. And don't think we don't have our arts here in Prattville. We've got Pizzazz right there that has adult art classes, adult paint classes that is, the children's art classes, birthday parties. And it's right across the street from a portrait place, which is where I'm standing right here at Prestige Portraits. We have Uncle Mick's Cajun Market and Cafe. Hasn't been here a long time, but it's a good place to eat. This is my bank right here, Hancock Bank. Used to be Whitney Bank. Used to be the Bank of Prattville. I have been, that was the first bank I ever got an account in, when it was the Bank of Prattville. And I still have an account in that bank, even though it's changed hands several times. There's a bridal boutique shop. Hey, what do you think? Should I wear that on stage? That's an outfit worthy of a magician. Right next to the bridal shop is another little alcove, a break between the buildings that they've turned into a nice little walkway. I'm looking straight down the south side sidewalk to this little building right here at the very end. This building here is City Hall. It hasn't always been City Hall. I believe it was at one time when I was younger. And it's right across the street from the City Hall Annex, which used to be the post office, if I remember correctly, when I was younger. In fact, I know it was. And the City Hall building now was a City Hall. It was the police department at one time. It was even, if I remember correctly, part of it was a pool hall, though that may have been this one here. Somebody help me out. I know there was a pool hall in one of these buildings. It may have been that one there. It may have been those double doors on the left. But I do remember shooting some pool in there one time, after I had already left home, so it was after the mid-70s. And the creek walk is right behind there. And that white building right there is now a museum. It's a lot of Prattville artifacts in there from Daniel Pratt's days and old pictures and such. Home of the Genealogical Society and Historical Society here. Funny thing about that building is we had a party in there, I think in 1972, after a play in high school where we did Our Town, I believe it was Our Town, may have been Arsenic and Old Lace. Mrs. Gillespie, our English teacher, her family, I think, owned that building or something of that nature, and we had a party and an after party after the last play of the year. Cool old building. I'll get in there. Now, when I was a kid, this was an operational gas station, and it was one of the last full-service gas stations to go self-service. And now it's a detail shop, but it looks virtually the same as it used to when it was a gas station. You can see the gas pumps outside. But it's a detail shop now, and they do a really good job. Back on the north side of downtown, and this is the building that is now the City Hall Annex. That used to be the post office when I was a kid, when I was younger. And here's how I can remember for sure. You see the drive-through mailboxes. I remember that, coming through that drive-through, mailing letters. Something you don't see much anymore. Back here behind what used to be the post office and is now the City Hall Annex, there's a little store tucked back here. It used to be a Piggly Wiggly, if I remember correctly. I think this was the Piggly Wiggly. It's changed hands a couple times, but it was always some kind of a grocery store. As you can see, before it closed, its last manifestation was AG Associated Grocers. Something interesting that I noted over here by the grocery store, the old grocery store, which is now closed down, is the street sign here. I wanted to point this out. The street sign here is Ticknor Street, obviously named after Daniel Pratt's wife. Daniel Pratt's wife's maiden name was Ticknor, but on her tombstone it's spelled Ticknor. And this one is Ticknor. I wonder why. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Spirit Walking with Spirit Walker. I've been your host, Spirit Walker. I appreciate you, and I ask you, hit that thumbs up button there on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button down below. Let me know you care, all right? I like to shoot these videos, and it's been a pleasure walking with you. Thanks for walking with me. I'm Spirit Walker, and I approve of this message.